You're listening to DJ Oz Ozzy.
Part of the Science Friends Twitter group now.
Yeah, he sent me an audio message that I forgot to respond to asking that. I'm pretty bad with texting and communication sometimes.
Would you believe me when I tell you, you are the queen of my heart? Please don't deceive me when I hurt you, just ain't the way it seems. Can you feel my love, buzz? Can you feel my love, buzz? Can you feel my love, buzz? Can you feel my love, buzz?
Favorite animal. Of all the animal kingdom. Did you get from
Would you believe me when I tell you, you are the queen of
because
my
they're
heart?
self-reliant.
Please don't deceive me when I hurt you, just ain't the way it seems.
Yeah.
Can you feel my love, buzz? Can you feel my love, buzz? Can you feel my love, buzz? Can you feel my love, buzz?
We about to have a conversation with Andreas, Secretarius, and Jason Pate on recent Tartarians, the new video channel that he putting up to date. It has got things that should never make your mind spin around, things that you never heard before, and now we're about to get into a conversation that you never heard before. On recent Tartarians, yeah. Recent Tartarians, with Jason Pate, and Andreas, By the way, that's gone.
Recent Tartarians.
It's gone.
right. Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Creation Watch. I am your host, Miss Bumblebee, and I have with me my special panel of guests. I have the one and only Atheist Junior, and I also have Grayson from. Do you go by critical base theory, or is it just base theory when you're on the?
I just say based theory. Yeah, it's got a bit of a mouthful with critical based theory, but technically that is my channel name. But I just say based theory.
Yeah. Well, so these two are both, what do you call yourself? I call myself a skeptics YouTuber, skeptic and debunking channel. I know you do a lot of more counter apologetics, you two gentlemen do, which is always fun. Rebutting young Earth creationism, anti-evolutionist. Go ahead, lay it out for us, Grayson. What do you usually argue against?
Yeah, I just describe it as I debate pseudoscience. So, because I've done debates on things like creationism, young Earth creationism, but also like climate change denialism, flat Earth. I would be open to doing like race realism or any of these pseudo-scientific ideas that propagate out there on the internet. And I also just make random videos on random topics I find interesting in science and history. So it fits right in with what we're going to be talking about today.
All right. AJ, did you bounce back in with us yet? He's still getting your drink. That's all right. AJ just stepped away for a second. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and break down what we're talking about today. Some people on my channel might remember because a couple of months ago I did this with Megan Lewis from Digital Hammurabi. Took her to Tartaria, but we explored the Trans-Pacific trade of lumber to how they built the temples in Jerusalem out of the redwood forest from California and things like that.
Oh, that well-known historical fact.
Right, yeah, that there was just a big shipping way across the Pacific in the during the Roman era, apparently.
Okay.
So we are talking about, of course, Tartaria, which is the first video we're gonna watch is just gonna be a breakdown of the history. I need to do this at least once. I didn't give Megan this leeway into it, so she was kind of blindsided and spent the whole time looking like this. So
well,
I figure
I think we're gonna spend the whole time looking like that, but we'll just have more of an easing into it.
Yeah, because we're about to rewrite history with this. With this, should I call it nonsense? I want to call it nonsense. But the channel,
exciting new hypothesis of history.
Yeah, let me see here. So first things first, let's look at this channel. This is Lucius Aurelian is the channel and has 21.5k subscribers, which is like
more than mine.
Yeah, probably more than all of us put together. Well, AJ's about halfway there. Congratulations on that, by the way, AJ. I saw you're working your way up to 8,000. Is that right?
Right. I just hit 8,500.
Woo! Go AJ. So yeah, this channel's about well, maybe a little over twice as big as yours, but they talk about the fascinating alternative history that is Tartaria. Now, as you can see, many cities are covered directly in here. We got Prague, we got St. Augustine, Niagara Falls, we got just the country of Germany, Chicago, Washington, D.C. Yeah, you got some Napoleon up there. Moscow, Boston, the Vatican, of course. We got to have the Vatican. How's that not going to be on this list, right? But what do all these cities have in common? They're all ancient cities from the time before, from the old world, if you will. And when they say old world, they don't divide it like when I say old world. And when you say old world to me, especially because I like biology, I divide Western, like the Americas, and then Europe, Africa, and Asia. I think of Europe, Africa, and Asia as the old world. But that's not what they mean when they say that here, and I want to make that very clear. The old world that we are talking to in Tartaria is the world from before, and we apparently refurbished their buildings. So, without further segue into this, let's go ahead and we're gonna lay the groundwork for the Tartaria mythos, and I want you all to just let me know if you have any questions along the way. If you can just stop and make a comment, anything like that. we will we'll make
Well,
room
before
for
we
it.
started, I just want to say that this guy, Lucius Aurelius, this is stolen valor. Okay, Restitutor Orbis. This, I just have to say, like, as a history nerd, as one of those guys that spends too frequent a time thinking about ancient Rome, this is stolen valor. Okay, Aurelian is one of my favorite Roman emperors. Restitutor Orbis, the restorer of the world. This guy is stealing valor right now, and I do not appreciate it.
So yeah, he's naming himself after your. Well, he doesn't even call his channel that anymore. It's like he called it that for a few months and then changed it, or maybe he's got another channel somewhere else. But this is when he goes by, like, what is there, Aurelia, Lucius Aurelian now, and he says Restitutor.
Yeah, but Aurelian is the Roman emperor who is known as Restitutor Orbis.
Oh, okay, so it's interlinked. Gotcha. I'm caught up now. Sorry, I'm a little slow.
Well, it's okay. He's naming himself after one of my favorite Roman emperors, and I don't appreciate it.
Welcome to the Restitutor Orbis channel. Thank you for joining me for today's exploration.
I tell you right now, I'm already going to put it up to 1.25.
Today we'll be looking into the grand theories of the old world in Tartaria. The purpose behind this video is to lay out and examine the grand theories of what we say of the old world in Tartaria. To look at the facts and understand what we're trying to research.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So, to clarify,
welcome to the Restitutor.
The old world and Tartaria are different things too. The old world was like biblical times. Tower of Babel was when the pyramids were built. It's whatever we have humongous stone ruins of that humans couldn't have built. You know, Stonehenge, all the pyramids all around the world, all the stuff that humans couldn't have built. That's old world, like biblical times with giants and stuff. And then there's the Tartarian age, which was like this worldwide Roman Empire kind of thing with fancy buildings. But I'll let him explain it. Sorry.
What we say of the old world in Tartaria. To look at the facts and understand what we're trying to research and what questions we're attempting to answer. Why does everyone refer to Tartaria and the old world? What are the major theories and thesis statements? Well, it all starts with
everybody refers to Tartaria. I can't go a day without someone bringing up Tartaria to me all the time. It's like, can we talk about something else, right?
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of this until like last week. AJ, how well versed are you in Tartarian lore?
This stream is the first I'm hearing of it. But I was gonna say that the name of this channel reminds me of the Proud Boy who changed his name to Augustus Sol Invictus because he thinks Roman history is cool. And also I was going to ask Grayson, if you're a history nerd, if you've ever seen the channel, it's called like What If Alt Hist?
Oh, yeah.
What if Alt?
Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm very familiar with both What If Alt Hist and his subreddit, which is even worse.
Now, yeah, this is where someone's actually got their wires crossed, and instead of saying what if, they decided to say, yes, this is what happened about this Tartarian crap. So, you know.
Position that history is not as we believe.
On the bottom there. Is that from a movie?
I don't know.
I think it's from Quantum Leap.
Yeah, is that Sam from Quantum Leap?
Okay. So that's part of Tartarian history. Okay, I got you. I'm with it now.
That's my guess.
The world's not that old. If you think that the young Earth people saying 6,000 years is like ridiculously young, these people think the pyramids were built like all this stuff is recently, right? Within the last 500 or so years. There was a reset in the 1800s, but we'll get there.
The dates, years, and perception of events are altered from the objective truth. Humanity has experienced 5 ages or eras of time, and these are the 6 theories. It starts with the fact that we believe that we have experienced 5 ages. We don't know the number of years. There was a golden age where great achievements were possible, and each age ended with a cataclysm, a reset, and the following age experienced a loss of ability. We started with megalith builders, large-scale structures, then we went to Tartaria, or the Old World, which refers to both, and it's perhaps only a name. Maybe Tartaria is merely a name from one portion of that old world that survived longer than the rest of it. And then to the current era.
That's only 4.
That is the first theory, the 5 ages theory. The second theory.
That's literally only 4 ages that he just went through: megalith builders, large scale structures, Tartaria, and then the current era. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, he's only got 2 here, and he says that there's 3 the Golden Ages, and then the Tartarian
Okay.
Age, and then the New Age. But there's only 2: megalith and large scale structures. What's the other one?
Theory is there was an era of a very different land. Colossal flora and fauna, trees and animals the size of biblical proportions, remains found in the land. Examples include Devil's Tower and many other land features.
So remember Devil's Tower, the mountain.
I've been there.
It's not actually a mountain; it's a tree stump. So you got to keep that in mind. That's the
So
theory.
that's confusing because it's made of stone, not tree bark. So
Right? Did you test it?
yeah, I was there. It's stone.
Mm.
Well, trees can turn to stone, can't they? They can
Yeah,
petrify.
fossilization, sure.
Is it a petrified tree stump, Grayson? Can you confirm that?
I
Is it a
cannot
polystrata
confirm
tree?
nor deny this.
I just thought it was interesting that this guy said there was a golden age, because that's literally what Kent Hovind says, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a golden age where people were 9 feet tall.
And there were giant animals. This is young Earth creationism too. It is tied in here. The golden
Honestly,
age before.
This kind of sounds more insane than Kent Hovind and young Earth creationism, because from what I understand, they're saying like Kent Hovind agrees with human history, like in the common era. Like for the last 1,000 years, I think Kent Hovind would mainly agree with historians. But
Yeah.
this guy sounds like he starts disagreeing as early as like the 1930s or the 1800s or something. So this is
No,
like
it does roll into the 20th century just a little bit. Like when they start doing he's got videos about them flooding the South and doing all the power electro dams and stuff, hydroelectric dams. Yeah.
Well, Ken doesn't like the term before the Common Era, though. He thinks that they replaced before Christ with that.
Oh yeah, BCE instead of BC. They did. I mean, but
They did, but it's not for the reason that he thinks. It's not some like knock against Christianity. It's just to get all the historians all over the world onto one time frame. When you have people who are different religions, they don't all want to use before Christ.
My point was just that Kent Hovind agrees that Napoleon was a real person that existed. It doesn't sound like this guy does. I mean,
yeah, you're gonna find that yeah, definitely not. No, like anybody before the 1830s, he does not believe anything about them. This person. So,
Theory 3. We are living in a simulation of the Mandela effect and reality glitches. Where things aren't as they seem, they can change. That which we have known our entire lives can change overnight, with a different perception and something different than what we remember. Theory 4. We are living in a dream, our own or another. We'll explore it. Theory 5. Everything is just as it seems. History and events are relayed to us perfectly with minimal errors. And Theory 6. Some combination of these 5 theories.
I say 5 sounds the close, but I wouldn't say minimal errors. I'd say that there's probably lots of errors.
That's like a total straw man of history. Like nobody claims that we know history perfectly. Like obviously, because there's historical revisionism that's correct sometimes.
Well, look, here are the options, right? Either history is perfect and without errors, or it's all a dream.
Right. Or like third option could be a computer simulation.
True.
So, yeah. Don't rule anything out.
How does your brain break?
Consider the 5 eras theory first, Old World and Tartaria. It's helpful to look at it as 3 distinct ages, or at least 3 distinct time periods that we can categorize. Okay. We have the Golden Age.
So, we got Babel. And, yeah, these are the maps. These are the maps that are at fault for this whole Tartarian thing, because in old maps drawn up by Europeans, they'd be like, oh, what's over there in Eastern Russia. I don't know, Tartars. Okay, Tartaria, that's here. They just put a big old splotch on there because nobody goes there. It's cold and frigid, and nobody goes there. It's just the land of the Tartars, whatever. And then these people in like, I guess it probably started in the 2010s, decided that because these maps showed, these old maps didn't have anything else out there besides Tartar, that it was this giant empire that ruled the world and just kind of ran.
Yeah, but he's got like the Arc de Triomphe on there. Like that's not in Central Asia. And it's blowing my mind here that he can accept things like the Tower of Babel as being historically accurate based on like no evidence, but then he can reject stuff like Napoleon or in like the 1800s. He can reject history in the 1800s, which is extremely well substantiated.
The Civil War. He rejects the Civil War. He says that the Civil War was actually the results of it were actually the reset, and that's what all the pictures are from.
Gotcha.
It's nuts.
They have ships from the Napoleon era that are still here, that still exist.
Those are Tartarian ships that have been dredged out of the mud, dude.
Alrighty.
Shall we continue?
Yeah. But like again, he says keeps saying 5 eras, 5 ages, and then it was 4, and now it's 3. It's like, come on, just give us 5.
3 ages, 16 epochs, and
eras, and that's where we get the 5 eras from, as the Golden Age can break down into 3 distinct eras based on our observations. During that time, amazing structures were possible.
And remember, this Golden Age includes like dinosaurs and stuff, right? Let's not forget that this is the Paleozoic and the Mesozoic and most of the Cenozoic is all crammed into this Golden Age together. So all the things that lived during those ages all lived during this little Golden Age.
So how could we forget that?
Yeah, that's a poignant principle of all that we're learning here about Tartaria.
Things beyond our wildest dreams. After these 3 eras comprising the Golden Age, we have the Tartarian Age, where many of the monuments, many of the great dome structures, the houses, many of the structures that we still see in our land today were built and present. The name of Tartaria comes from the Tartaria region of what is today Russia. Tartaria may simply be a name that appeared on old maps. It could even be a
I'm pretty sure it's just called the Tartar region, though, isn't it? Do they actually call it the Tartarian region?
I don't know. It seems semantic, but
yeah.
I have no idea.
Information campaign. We don't know for sure, but we know we see it a lot on older maps and references in older books. So was this the name of this old world-spanning civilization, or was it merely the name of a tribe that wandered the area and had some cultural influence and many names that were thrown throughout modern civilization? It's hard to tell, but the name is useful to reference what this grand...
Oh, be open-minded now, come on.
Did he say a world-spanning civilization?
World-spanning, yes. They think, like, we were talking before you popped in earlier about, they think, like, Kansas City was, like, dug out of the mud. It wasn't built by the settlers. It was dug out of the mud. It's an ancient city. St. Louis.
It sounds like in Death Stranding when you fight the big monsters and the city is rising out of the mud or the tar. I don't know if you played that game.
No, but
I just sound crazy.
Can't sound crazier than our host for the day. What's his name? Aurelian, which triggers if you say that, it makes Grayson's eye twitch.
Mm-hmm.
But St. Louis was like, we'll get to that in a second, maybe, unless we pick a different one. But
I mean, in real life, Aurelian was assassinated while he was peeing. So I don't know what's in store for this guy.
But St. Louis was the capital of the Tartarian kingdoms in the New World before the reset.
Well, maybe I can screen share later and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And civilization may have been. And we believe that the structures that we see represent this civilization, and they're found all over the land, the world, the realm, however you want to refer to it. Most recently, we have the Contemporary Age. It's been the last 170 years, starting potentially around 1850, although there are other theories for when that date is. We have photos and accounts of history from the Contemporary Age, supposedly. We are aware of vast relocations of people, whether it's through asylums, through the orphan trains, or immigration, emigration.
Oh my gosh, they don't know how much he gets into the orphan trains here, but he does. There's a theory about the last reset that there were these orphan trains of orphan labor that was shipped out west and stuff. It's really weird, really kind of creepy actually. And I realized I've been ignoring my side chat, which is not normal for me. So we saw your porn tab, Bree. That's okay. I don't care. If
I'd like to start a petition to rename the side chat as the Orphan Train.
The orphan train. Yeah, you all can be on the orphan train because I forgot about you and left you behind. Does tartar sauce come from Tartaria? Of course, Andrew. Where else would it come from? What people who've never heard of Tartaria, you say? Yeah, Maya knows about it, and Sumami says, no, that's Tartaria. Let's see, four eras, 5 eras. Who can count at this at a time like this? Said Maya. So she's kind of with you. Does the eras keep changing? Some people are just not math people. Grayson licks it to make sure it's stone. LOL. I live in reality as much as it means I have exactly half an hour to be here. Well, at least you're being realistic. Yeah, never mind the 2,400-year-old Greek ships in the oldest wreck yet discovered. That's pretty cool. I have to look into that.
He's referring to the Uluburun shipwreck, which was dated using 3 different methodologies, all to like the 1300s BC. So like,
wow.
Yeah. Like they did like radiocarbon dating, they did tree ring dating, and they dated it based on the actual artifacts that were on board the ship, because the ship contained artifacts from like regions all across the Mediterranean, including scarabs from certain Egyptian pharaohs. So they could date it through 3 methods that all converged at the same date. So I don't know how he fits the Uluburun shipwreck in his Tartaria worldview, but I'm sure we'll find out.
Maybe it fell from the sky like a star on some, prophesized night. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. Possible bad info from using multiple maps to create a new map, creating an area on the map that doesn't exist in reality. That's Regios's theory, and then Maya, of course, is excited about free orphan labor.
Whatever the case may be. We have asylums of all types for various people. We have acquired the remaining buildings from the Tartarian age by a group of people we call the Inheritors, or those who are in control during the reset or cataclysm events. Our current society is based on illusions of achievement. We're told that we achieve so many amazing things, and yet our wars end indecisively. Our great advancements seem to go backwards in a lot of ways. The fact that we have computers and technology don't really seem to improve our lives. Main component of this theory is that we have lost much capability, including...
Like what?
Yeah.
How did you make this video?
Exactly. How are you spreading your message? How are you spreading? I don't think even going back, would anybody living today go back 30 years to even just specifically medical technology? Would you go back 30 years? To hell with that. No way. Especially if you had something like diabetes or something like that. You don't want to go back 30 years and deal with what a diabetic had to deal with in the early 2000s or late 90s.
Longevity, creativity, inspiration, and self-reliance. Looking at the possible timelines, we have the Golden Age broken down into 3 distinct eras, and the reason for that is we believe that each of the dotted lines represents a reset or cataclysmic event that caused the end of an era.
Okay, so here we got like buildings the size of mountains. Then we got the section 2 where you got Babel, and I'm assuming, is this supposed to be like the Mayan Empire, maybe? People of the Sun? Potentially. I don't know if he'll talk about it. And then these are the Star Forts, which are a big part of Tartarian architecture. So,
I mean, the second picture is just Baghdad. So, not even a star fort. I mean, it's just a picture of Baghdad.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just what do you know about what time frame? Is it?
Yeah, the 800. Well, I don't know in Tartaria time frames, but in like real life during the Abbasid Caliphate in like the 800s AD.
There we go.
And the star forts are like even more recent than that. I mean, that's like in the very, late medieval period to like, I mean, come on, like, and like, we
Star
know how
Fort.
they make these things.
So it was my understanding that star forts were a response to siege weaponry. And
Yeah, like
advanced
artillery
them.
and cannons and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To angle the walls away from each other, so if they blew down one, it didn't blow down the whole segment of the city.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought too. Thank you for clarifying that for me. I know you have more experience with this stuff than I do. Shall we continue?
And like you can make those like with like basic land surveying techniques. It's not like a huge mystery for how you make geometrical patterns of star forts and stuff. It's not a big mystery.
Yeah, the claim is that it's cultural because lots of people started, because as heavy artillery spread around the world, everybody figured this out at this, as it approached them. So everybody figured out the best way to defend yourself against this type of attack is to have angular walls instead of curved walls. Yeah.
It's kind of like why you find pyramids all over the place, because if you're trying to build something that's structurally sound, that's as high as you can build it, a pyramid is the easiest structure that you can build with height that has a solid foundation and isn't likely to topple over like a tower would. So it's like there's obvious structural reasons why you would find pyramids around the world, just like these star forts. I mean, there's just obvious conditions that necessitate them.
In the Golden Age, there were 3 eras. You see this referred to in myth and legend from various cultures and societies across the world. The Roman numerals, 1 referring to the actual Golden Age, 2 the Silver Age, and 3 the Bronze Age. And then there's other references to an Age of Heroes and a Contemporary Age. So that is...
Literally, the title of this slide is The 5 Ages. And now he's like, okay, we all know there are 3 ages, and he's got 3 on screen. He just went over 3 ages, but now it's the 5 ages. I'm like, just pick one, dude.
Yeah, this is really confusing because the you have Roman numerals starting at the top, but then it like switches to regular numbers and then back
to Roman numerals, and it breaks this like 1850s are different here and then here. Like what? How does this break down? I'm glad I'm not the only one that's like super confused by what he's trying. And what do these different yellow bars present?
Yeah.
Like, what is this
like,
one?
It looks like those are maybe 3 possibilities because he's got the final reset at different dates for the 3 different arrows. But like, yeah, your guess is as good as mine on that. We can just keep watching.
Yeah, maybe he'll break it down for us further.
Is the template that is used to map out the 5 eras. During the Golden Age, our society was essentially unlimited in what it could create. It could build any structure, they could achieve any sort of remarkable feat beyond our wildest imagination. Buildings the size of mountains, a great society that unified all the people, regardless of their appearance, regardless of their personal identity. A place where everyone could pursue their own dreams, and they could live together in harmony. Well, it sounds like heaven. It sounds like a place that couldn't possibly exist. Yet, every society seems to have a collective memory of it. And there are signs of remarkable structures. Of course, the star fort research that continues by many other explorers. And there's a lot of signs that many of the great structures we see were once great buildings. There's also the legend of the Tower of Babel. Moving from the Golden Age, which we believe was broken down into 3 periods, and of course, I'll reference the picture that we have of the Tower of Babel, because that looks like that is something that occurred after a reset or a cataclysmic event. When you look closely.
Pick the photographs that we have of the Tower of Babel, you know?
Yeah. So wait, is his only evidence for this golden age where you have literal technology that makes anything possible? He said his evidence for that is, well, we've got stories about it.
Yeah, and like a 19th century drawing of what they thought the Tower of Babel will look like, and that's their picture.
Okay.
The Golden Age sounds weirdly progressive.
Yeah.
I bet there was lots of. Well, we were perfect back then too. You got to remember we were like 9 feet tall, and yeah,
we all look like Grayson.
At the various buildings.
Oh, you're not quite 9 feet tall though, right? Like
yeah, only 7.5.
around it, and great researchers such as John Levi have covered that. Moving past the Golden Age and the more recent Tartarian Age, or the age that preceded ours, which here is marked with a 4 Roman numeral, this is where we believe that many of the
And
great...
when he says researchers, he means other crackpots, by the way, other Tartarian belief people. He doesn't mean like archaeologists or anything. That's why he doesn't say archaeologists. He says researchers.
buildings that we see, the houses, the structures, the monuments, everything that's still present across the land was built. It was built by a worldwide civilization that encompassed all the land. At the bottom, we have the agreed upon, or at least one of the agreed upon symbols, which is a griffin, and black and yellow seems to come up a lot, but we just don't know. It could simply be something that was...
There's the problem right there. They were libertarians.
Because of black and yellow?
Yeah.
Or they were Wiz Khalifa fans.
Yeah.
Or they were House Gryffindor.
Oh, no, that would have been Hufflepuff.
Baratheon.
Well, they said that they're symbols of Griffin, so.
But the colors are yellow and black.
I think that's because there was an imperfect cultural memory that J.K. Rowling was drawing upon.
That could work. We'll go with that.
Thrown into our history, something that we've misinterpreted, but it is what we've agreed upon using to represent what this worldwide civilization could have been. Now we come to the transition from the Tartarian in the contemporary age, and you see the division going from 4 to 5. There are 3 distinct theories on the timeline on when this transition happened.
Ah, here we go. We should explain it. 3 distinct theories. Either happened in 1750, 1800, 1850.
This is why we depict 3 distinct eras, because we believe that this last cataclysm, or transition from the Tartarian age to the contemporary age, occurred. The earliest year is 1750, represented by the bottom arrow, and that's associated with the 7 Years' War, occurring from 1756 to 1763, and it's considered the first worldwide conflict. Another theory, represented by the middle arrow, states that this occurred possibly around 1800, and this is backed up by the fact that there were major worldwide changes shortly after 1800, the supposed building of the Erie Canal, a great earthquake that caused the Mississippi to flow backwards. And then the top arrow, representing the transition occurring at 1850.
I think that's when the United States really started expanding their colonial power too, though, right? Around 1800?
No, that was Tartaria.
Oh, okay. The Tartarian Purchase is what they should have called it, right?
Yeah.
We all know. Oh, you boys.
This being the time when photography became widely available, the report that genealogy seemed to end around 1850. I can verify that both genealogies on my maternal and paternal side do end around 1850.
His anecdote proves it.
I've got like a family tree that I can trace back going to like the 1600s. So I got this guy beat. I'm sorry. I go back to Tartaria on this one.
Well, that's why, but you're like one of the Tartarians. We already established that. That's why you're 7.5 feet tall.
Yeah, I'm French Canadian. I don't know.
French Canadians. French Canada was the last stronghold of the Tartarians.
Well, if Tartaria was worldwide, then all of our ancestors were Tartarian.
That's true. What? But the Tartarian Empire could have subjugated like normal people, though. There's not any.
Orphan train, yeah.
Yeah, we could have been descendants from the orphans.
My question was just like, he said that Tartaria occupied all of the land. Well, like, what about the oceans?
Yeah,
that was Atlantis.
Can't really. Oh, okay.
Yeah, jurisdictional conflicts probably happened, but I think they were able to keep it under control.
That's Aquaman can deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can trace back before then is just the name and a list of names, which really doesn't prove much. You see,
what does he think a genealogy is? A name and a list of names?
This guy really just tried to make his own family tree, and it was like, why can't I go before 1850? It must be a worldwide conspiracy to conceal a secret lost civilization that ended at 1850 to explain my own personal family tree.
This is the guy who remembers Fruit Loops being spelled F-R-O-O-T on there and flipped out about the Mandela effect. That's the kind of that's the kind of brain power we're working with. That's the kind of misfire that you deal with when you.
Well, he's a researcher.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Curious George never had a tail, and there was no dash in the word Kit Kat. So obviously, all of this happened.
Maybe in your Berenstain universe.
Must
The
be.
pictures on the right representing the transition from the last cataclysm. We perhaps have pictures of it, and that's what we believe the photos of citywide destruction from the 19th century represent, the transition of people, the orphan trains, the refugees, immigrants. And then finally, resulting in our modern age where we have our...
That is the orphan trains, I guess, right here. Orphan trains. Any old picture of little kids is an orphan
Any
train.
black and white photo.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds so
Oh, that's
disappointed
good.
to get to the present day.
Look,
Yeah.
he's got photo evidence of the end of the Tartarian age. So we should listen to him, guys.
But I'm not going to end up on one of these orphan trains, Grayson.
I think you'd be the first one on.
Yeah, probably. Like, let's get rid of this one first.
They're houses that are very poorly constructed and are amazing tall buildings that are primarily glass.
Okay.
The next theory,
They're not-
the very different
they're not
remains of
primarily
megaflora
glass.
and fauna.
Steel?
They have steel like reinforcements. This guy probably thinks that jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Or has probably said that.
Oh, there's no doubt. The 9/11 was probably caused by a dirigible in this timeline.
Hey, I've
So-
been to two of these places, Monument Valley and Devil's Tower.
Yeah. So
I've seen the entrance myself.
What's the place in El Paso? The big structure that was coral? I forget the name of it.
Ooh, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it. It's like they called it something that's mountain, but it's not really a mountain because it's not big enough.
You're not talking
El
about like,
Capitan?
El Capitan, is that it? Yeah, that might be it. Where'd you get that from?
From Google.
Google's our friend.
Yeah, and I guess it was.
I wonder if Tartaria and Google works different though.
Probably.
Oh, what if there's a Tartaria Wikipedia?
be all eyes.
Well,
Oh
they
my
have
gosh.
CONSERVAPEDIA.
Oh my.
Yeah, I used to.
They really have their own little safe space.
Oh, you haven't seen that site?
I
No.
used to do a whole segment on my channel doing CONSERVAPEDIA. That used to be like the whole. Man, I'd just pull an article up on there and just read it on air. They were so
Yeah.
bad.
That's like the alt history version of Wikipedia.
They're like they got younger creationism, evolution denialism. There's a lot of correlation between like homosexuality and pretty much everything wrong with society. There's a page on it, homosexuality and
Earthquakes.
earthquakes, yeah, hurricanes.
Wow.
So when you were here at these giant tree stumps, Grayson,
No.
did what?
No, they don't look like giant tree stumps to me. But I'm not an expert paleontologist by any means.
So if we had to speculate though on how tall these trees would be,
yeah. Miles
Oh.
high.
they would.
Did you go to the top of any of these structures?
No.
So you didn't see any rings at the top?
Didn't see any rings at all. No.
No.
Okay.
Did you fly over them?
Nope.
Okay.
We could probably get a Google Earth image of it and check.
Yeah. Check for rings. Yeah.
Is that a fossil on the bottom right there?
Yeah. This is a from the Tartarian age. It's a giant salamander.
Next to a dead man.
All right. Well, let's hear it.
Fauna. Mud fossils, as it's called. There were once great trees, once great animals that were far and wide across the land, represented by small remnants. The main component of this theory is there are observed remains of everything in the terrain across the world. A remarkable...
By the way, that's like a labyrinthodont. I think that's the big one that was found in the UK recently. I don't remember the species name, but big amphibian, big ancient Tasman spondylus amphibian.
structure. Things beyond our imagination. These could be buildings, these could be former life forms, but this theory suspects that they are everywhere. You see Devil's Tower, potentially representing an old tree. I have climbed the top of Devil's Tower personally, and there are many aspects of it that give the indication that it could have been a very large tree. I don't know for sure, and I'm not going to come
Such
to any
as, like, which are I'm not going to
Yeah,
name
well,
any of
his experience beats mine. He claims to
Yeah.
have climbed to the top of Devil's Tower personally. I'm a little bit doubtful of that, but okay,
Why-
dude. I
Why didn't you go with him, Grayson? You were there. He was there. I don't see any reason why. Are you scared? Were you scared to go to the
I
top?
am a little bit scared. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
If
not
it-
probably do that.
If it meant climbing with that guy, I would be scared of that.
I don't know if I would. It looks like it would be hard to climb. It doesn't look like there'd be any
Yeah.
easy way up.
I also
Um,
just straight up don't know if you're even allowed to climb it. I
Because
mean,
it's like protected land, right? Like,
yeah, it's considered like a sacred monument to like indigenous peoples there, and I don't know. I feel like you would have to get some kind of special permit to climb it, but okay.
yeah. I think that even if they would rather you go on to the top by helicopter than climb it. Even I
Yeah.
would think
I'm
that
sure
would
that
probably
this
be.
guy. I'm sure this guy had the Tartarians' permission to climb it, though, and they're the original indigenous people all over the world. So
Yeah. So they have
Yeah,
give you permits to everything, anything.
He had a Tartarian hood pass, so
conclusions. It could be an old volcano, like they say. It could be something else entirely from what we understand. But we have to keep an open mind, and we have to keep asking those questions, and we have to be open to different perspectives. We're living in a simulation. The theory that everything is a simulation. The main component of this theory, well, you find many people referring to the Mandela effect, that things aren't as they remember, that it's glitches in reality. Many people remember a yellow sun, even though they say it's white now. You look at the mid...
I've heard that from flat earthers too, that the sun used to be yellow and now it's white. I don't
if you
remember.
go look at a sunset, it looks yellow-ish, or like yellow, red, orange-ish at sunset.
I
but-
have a theory about that. I'm going to run it by you guys because the people that I hear say this are almost always either boomers or Gen Xers, that they grew up in a time before there were these tight EPA regulations on emissions. So they grew up in with polluted skies that really did have a yellow tinge to them from the pollution that we were pumping into the air from World War II until about 1977. That's my.
I've not heard that. But this
I
guy
feel like-
actually included the explanation on his slide. Like, that's why this happens, because the Earth's atmosphere scatters molecules differently, so the light waves are bent and it's just a different color. Like, he forgot to crop this image, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that regardless of the pollution level, or like maybe not regardless, but at the pollution level of the mid 20th century, at noon when you're looking up at the sun, it's still gonna appear white. I mean,
Yeah,
we
it's a
know
clear day.
that Newton was doing experiments with prisms and sunlight, and it was white light back in Newton's time, but I guess that was during Tartaria for this guy, so he'll probably discount it. But I mean,
What
come
is
on.
yellow light? Do any of you all know what the composition of yellow light is? I know it's like less blue, I guess.
It would
less
just
blue
be
wavelengths.
majoritively composed of light that's like the frequency, the wavelengths of yellow
Yeah.
spectrum. It would just, if anything, the sun is within the visible spectrum. The sun is mostly or pluratively green light. So
Well, we've evolved to see it as like on a neutral scale, though. Actually, we've evolved to see green stand out, or see red stand out from green. Anyway, that's the way our eyes developed.
But this guy doesn't believe in simulation theory, right? I mean, the thing that he believes in is the first theory that he went over, right? Or is he saying that it's
Well,
a
it's
combination
funny
of all these things?
that he says that because reality does kind of work like simulation theory. Think about the white rabbit from the Matrix. Follow the white rabbit, and he sees the tattoo. That's the same way like what we were talking about with wavelengths of light. Look for the red is what helps primates survive in our natural environment for millions of years until we evolved to this point. Looking for that red fruit among the green branches. So it's the same type of signaling. It doesn't have to be in a simulation. The reality that we live in and the way that we perceive the universe around us is a simulation created by our brain of what really exists, right? You're not seeing wavelengths of light as they objectively are. That's how they are to a human. That's how the world looks to the human eye. It's not objective. Yeah. So this is holdover from listening to what I was listening to earlier about morality.
Yeah, we can detect a tiny percentage of all the electromagnetic radiation that's throughout our universe. The visible light spectrum is a tiny fraction of it that we can actually see. Most of that radiation we can't even detect without machinery.
And the 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz that we can hear in, that's a tiny window of sound waves. That's a tiny, tiny window of what sound waves are capable of.
Point of day and you see a white sun, even though I remember seeing a yellow sun growing up. Maybe it's just a trick with the memory, or maybe they're parallel realities managing to exist simultaneously as part of the we are living in a simulation. See some of the great
Now, I happen to know for a fact that if you go to this guy's videos, we can go there in a little bit and look. There's a Superman video, so I think that might be his obsession with the yellow sun thing. Superman Lord, Earth's yellow sun, but right.
Well, that's more talking about the yellow star, right?
Yeah,
like
it's where Superman gets his power from. He's basically photosynthetic.
Big movement in film from 1998 to the early 2000s where they depicted many movies, except of course for Tron, pictured in the top right, which is from the early 80s. But 1999 and onward, you had movies such as The Matrix, The 13th Floor, that represented what living in a simulation could be like, and how it would transpose both our personalities and our minds into an existence where essentially anything is possible. And that is why you see so many discrepancies. Oh, the theory, it's all just a dream. Considers all
Later, Brian Stevens. Thanks for hanging out.
Inconsistencies at once. You can bend reality, literally and figuratively. You can be like Tom Cruise driving your Ferrari down a deserted Times Square, get out of your Ferrari and run. Or you can just jump off the top of the building.
I just wanted to say that. Vanilla Sky, great movie. Yeah. Really cool movie, if you haven't seen it.
That's what this scene's from, yeah. That's Vanilla Sky.
An interesting fact about that scene is that the producers of the film actually got permission from the government or the people in New York City to shut down Times Square. So when you see that scene in the movie, that's literally Tom Cruise running around Times Square when it's empty. They had to close off all the city streets for like an hour so he could do that.
Yeah, get one shot on that.
Yeah, it's the intro of the movie, but that's a crazy film. Really trippy.
2 miles and then suddenly you wake up. Anything is possible and changes come without warning. It is interesting that this theory could explain many of the inconsistencies that we see. We just don't know, and yes, everything is on the table, although this definitely approaches the concept of solipsism, that everything is just from one person's own mind, and everything is just to suit them. And there are many people, many researchers who support this theory, and you can find a lot of detail on what they say. I certainly want to keep it in mind as we continue with our explorations, but I believe that there are consistencies, and there are certain things that bind us together. Now, as to what's behind them, who knows?
So you see how vague he is? There are certain things that there's never tells us what this, like what he was talking about with the things about Devil's Tower. Couldn't tell us what it was, but there's just things about it, right?
It's vibes. It's all vibes based.
It's the energy it puts off.
The next theory, everything is as it seems. Reality and life are just imperfect. The main component of this theory, well, just look up life on Google, Wiki, look at your news feeds, watch sports, and everything you experience. It's just as they told.
The 3 images that he's choosing to depict the standard consensus of historians, archaeologists, scientists, the world at large is, what is that? Ulysses S. Grant, the atomic bomb.
Is that Grant? I thought that was Sherman for some reason.
Maybe Sherman. He's got a Civil War general. He's got the nuclear testing at Bikini Atoll, and then he's got like what, Good Morning America or something.
Yeah,
like,
the move.
Really? These are the 3 images he chooses? I'm speechless.
This makes me question what he thinks the Castle Bravo was. What does he think? Does he think that didn't happen?
Well, he thinks the Civil War didn't happen, right? That's why he's showing this image here.
Yeah, he does think the Civil War didn't happen, or that the Civil War was something else to do with the orphan trains, no doubt.
I bet that if you asked him, he would say that it didn't happen. But if it did happen, then the South should have won. I somehow suspect that.
The South was fighting the orphan trains.
Yeah,
It
they're
is.
fighting
It
the
is
good fight.
Ulysses Grant.
It's Grant. Okay, I was wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. I'm not, not a historian or anything, but this guy talks about Sherman a lot in his when he talks about the southern cities.
Told us.
Look at all
It
those
is
buttons.
possible. Yes, there may be inconsistencies with the story, but those could just be imperfections. The fact that
When you didn't have freaking YouTube and distractions from your iPhone, you had time for more buttons, AJ. Time for all the buttons.
Phone bad.
Yeah.
Phones are
Phone
bad.
bad.
Technology's bad.
Buttons good. Phone bad.
Physical buttons.
I can get behind that.
I do like physical buttons more than a touchscreen.
Remember when our buttons were real?
And the sun was yellow.
Yeah, I remember.
Drank right out of the hose.
we continue to have indecisive conflicts, that our advancements seem to be stuck in a certain period, or we have periods where we have great technological advancements and then none, that's just the imperfection of life. And those are all things that we have to deal with. Or even the great odds that we somehow survive the mutually assured destruction concept of the Cold War that lasted over 40 years, where we had two very large nuclear-armed powers that could have destroyed each other within the span of 20 minutes. And nevertheless, here we are, 40 years after the movie The Day After, made in 1983.
Believed that. I thought that he believed everything after 1850 or something. But now he doesn't believe that the Cold War happened?
Right. Well, he thinks that that's all smoke and mirrors. The idea of the Cold War and stuff is to hide us from the truth of our secret past.
I see. Okay,
they orchestrate the Cold War to keep the Reds and then the God-fearing Americans separated, so that they wouldn't get together and talk about our shared Tartarian history.
Okay. So the Cold War wasn't real and was just made up, but the Old Testament, that's definitely true.
Yeah,
right?
we have drawings of the Tower of Babel.
Right. We got Tower of Babel pictures. Okay. I'm on board now. I'm on the same page. Glad we cleared that up.
We don't have pictures of the Cold War. How do you take pictures of a Cold War, Grayson?
Yeah.
So it's all fascinating when you take it together and you consider all these facts. I want to refer to the concepts of courage and imagination. Courage is defined as the ability to do something that frightens one. Strength in the face of pain or grief. And imagination, a word that has certainly been derided over the years. The faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses. Taking these two qualities together, this is how we find the moral fortitude and the intellectual capacity to explore our world, to ask questions. Yes, we can take it exactly as we're told from someone else, some other institution, or some other agency. But I believe that what makes the individual unique is our ability.
Sumami, I think the one he pulled up was from a woodcut, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was from a 19th century German woodcut that may have been based on that Bosch painting. But I'm not 100%.
To employ courage and imagination to explore our world and to find our own answers. I welcome different perspectives, and I welcome and appreciate different opinions and views. So what are we looking to do on this channel? We're looking to seek to explore these theories to prove and disprove aspects of them, and we may even change on that based on what we observe. Always maintain objectivity, and that's the hardest thing. I'm a human being just like the rest of you. I am subject to my own human frailties, even within...
We've already heard him be derisive and dismissive about the timeline that as we understand it. Even his slides demonstrating what our accepted timeline is was sort of snarky in and of itself with what it presented, right?
Do you know if he ever addresses like radiometric dating at all?
So I figured we'd end about right here. This is about the time I explained it in, and then we'd go through and look at maybe pop through his videos and see if there's anything that we want to particularly pops out to either one of you guys that you want to listen to.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's let him wrap up here real quick and see.
City of Milwaukee off of Lake Michigan that we can explore, and there's a unique own answers. And keep asking questions and we will find the truth. It's going to be difficult. No one ever said life was easy. But if there's one thing I can guarantee you is if you just take it as others would have you believe, then would you rather find your own answers? Going forward, channel's going to be exploring old world mysteries in Milwaukee. There are many structures in the great city of Milwaukee off of Lake Michigan that we can explore, and there's a unique story behind all of them. We want to understand what that story is and look for discrepancies in the story and look for consistencies.
He's saying that these were
Are we
all
looking at
built
old world buildings here that were
by
remnants of
Tartaria?
Tartaria, or were they structures that were built as our established history says that they were? It's an
He's just
interesting
asking
mystery, and something we
questions.
want to explore and consider.
My city right here. I know I've been in all these buildings, went through on school field trips to all this stuff. I know all about them. So this is all, all that post Civil War construction.
You're a Tartarian expert.
Yeah. You get a bunch of Germans moving into the Midwest at that time, and they were all Masons and looking for this work. And
Wait. Who does he think built the Gateway Arch? Is that Tartaria or is that contemporary?
No, that's what he calls brutal architecture of the 21st century or of the 20th century.
The Gateway Arch? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's
Not
brutal.
exactly brutal architecture, but okay.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
thought
like
that
Art
was-
Deco, isn't it? The art.
I thought that was like a term to describe the housing that was built in like communist countries that all looks the same, like brutal architecture.
I think brutalism originates in the UK, I think, but it was popular, like, it's
it's
largely concrete based. It's very
minimalistic, practical, very
Yeah.
space conscious. All space is utilized. There's no decor or anything added to it. No flair. Yeah, but he might have called it Art Deco. I can't remember. I might be misspeaking. He might have called it Art Deco, but it's part of modern art or the modern world. The Gateway Arch is, but its position to the building that you see on the bottom left is significant in this St. Louis video. So I actually have a St. Louis video pulled up as I was watching that while I was getting ready this morning. But he's got all kinds of wild. Here's St. Louis. Let's see, what else has he got here? He's got the old fairgrounds from the World Fair from Chicago.
Well, if he wanted to explain something from my city, I'd love to hear what he thinks about the Alamo.
Houston,
That would
I
be
don't know if
interesting.
Houston's on here.
San Antonio.
Yeah,
Why
I'm
did I
in San
say-
Antonio.
Yeah, I'm thinking Houston because Sam Houston. I'm dumb.
You forgot the Alamo.
You forgot. You
I'm
forgot
not
the
a
Alamo.
Texan like you people are.
Remember the Alamo.
Doesn't matter.
Let's see. So we are going to go here. San Antonio. Let's search it out. San Antonio.
What are his most popular videos?
Hold on. Let me see if he does one on San Antonio. No. Dang
Unless
it.
there's something in this video. I doubt it, though.
Yeah. Let's see. His most popular video.
He's got
Orphan
one
Trains.
on trains, one on mud floods.
Yeah, you gotta click on videos first, and then you can sort by popular.
Oh, I thought it showed that list was the popular. Hold on.
No. See,
Where's
that's
this?
popular right there next to latest.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Before the reset.
Oh, New Orleans is his most popular city.
New
Okay.
Orleans, yeah.
And St. Louis is up there though.
Cincinnati.
The Orphan Trains one is one of his more popular. People
Yeah,
want
I
to know
figured
about
it-
Orphan Trains.
Figured
Oh wait,
people
he's got
called
one on evidence of Tartaria. He's got a video on evidence. Wow.
How long is that? That's a long one, no.
Photo
Kind
albums.
of long though.
Yeah, photo albums are the evidence, I guess.
Check this out. Tolkien Tartaria in the old world. So Tolkien teaches us about Tartaria. And of course, who can forget the ancient kingdom of Cleveland? And its 6th century buildings.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine living in Cleveland in the 6th century? Oh. Oh man. Yeah, St. Louis is popular. I was watching that one earlier. Salt Lake City. That's one of the cities that they dug out of the mud along with Kansas City that were just buried in the mud. Here's a star fort in St. Augustine, of course.
Could I share my screen real quick if that's okay?
Yeah, let me
I just wanted to show this video so you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm familiar with the game.
Oh, you are. Well, I don't think Bree's played it.
yeah, I'm not though. I'll watch it.
So you have like the demon, the tar, and then
Tartaria.
oh,
Oh.
and then we have all the buildings
Rising up.
coming out. So
Yeah.
this
That's
must
like-
have been what happened.
That looks exactly like Kansas City too.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
That's even better than the evidence of the picture of the Tower of Babel. You got a whole video.
Yeah.
That's true. And you got the giant whale squid to fight. So
Yeah.
I'm
Which old the monsters of the old world or giant animals of the old world. Of course. All
Is
right.
there any video that the people in the chat want us to cover most out of these?
Yeah.
Because I'm saying I'm most interested. I'm interested in the evidence for Tartaria. I think the most out of
That
this.
sounds interesting to me, and we should probably get through a little bit of it. Where was
Yeah.
this?
I'm what's known as a rational skeptic, and I'm skeptical of the evidence of this claim. So I would also like to see the evidence.
Welcome to the Restitutor Orbis channel, and thank you for joining me today. We're going to be taking a look at Evidence of Tartaria, photo album from
God.
the 1850s. And in this particular photo, you see a couple power generators and what looks to be a submarine. Before I
So, like on top of the domes, if there's like a lightning rod or a spire or anything, it is a power generator, like a Tesla style, that out into the ether, where it could be absorbed by ships and stuff.
get into the presentation, I just wanted to give a little bit of credit. I have seen this photo in other researchers' videos. I believe it was UAP channel, and I think he had some great commentary on it, if I'm remembering correctly. But if I'm not, please correct me in the comments. I've got a theme for this video, and it goes against how I usually conduct these videos when I do these explorations because, well, we know that photos can be altered, they can be changed, they might not necessarily be conveying the entire truth. But we're going to look at them today as though they are, and we're going to examine what they're telling us. And going back to the 5 eras theory,
here we go.
what we're really looking at is right here at 1850. Right now, the evidence that I've looked at, my updated theory, is that the reset occurred in 1850, so the first timeline. Right around 1850, either right before it or right after it, that was where the reset occurred, and we're going to be looking at the time frame of photos of the period right after the reset to see if there's any clues or if there's any evidence of a previous civilization existing. I believe that there are plenty of clues, and I also believe that there's even evidence that there are enclaves or survivors of the previous civilization that were scattered around the land, the world, the realm, whatever we want to call it. And I think there are numerous examples of that. So what does official history tell us this photo is? The Chattermanzil Palace wall in India, which was destroyed by mutineers during the Indian Rebellion of 1857, also known as the Sepoy Mutiny. And of course, we already pointed out the amazing Antiquitech or power generation features on the building and even on the ship here. We also see some amazing architecture that looks like it's been through something rough.
I like that word.
It's just natural erosion. It's difficult weather. And then, yes, I'm not going to overlook it. What looks to be either a submarine or submersible that's potentially washed up ashore here. And we see a lot of junk that's in this little harbor inlet right here. It's quite remarkable. But what exactly is this? I mean, you see a couple fins. I mean, could this be a submarine? Well, believe it.
It looks like something decorative to me.
I have an
something-
alternative hypothesis. I think this is the whale that Jonah was inside of in the Bible. Because you can clearly see a man coming out of the side of it. And
That's Jonah.
that's clearly Jonah. It's Jonah Hill. Everyone
Hill.
knows this. The other researchers have corroborated this. I just can't remember when they said that. Must be the Mandela effect.
Yeah. I think that Lee Strobel put this in his last documentary.
it or not, our mainstream history does tell us that submarines existed during this time. Yes, I was a little shocked, but if anybody was big into watching TNT or Turner Broadcasting in the 90s, you might remember a little TV show called The Hunley. It was a made-for-TV movie about a Confederate States submarine.
That's not a TV
that
show.
conducted the first successful submarine attack in 1860.
Those are two different things.
And for my evidence, I would like to point to the made-for-TV movie from the 90s.
A made-for-TV movie that's also a TV show?
Yeah.
Okay. Unless it's like based on it, I don't know. It's not important.
Just look at the power sources, AJ.
Yeah, clearly this is where the TNT headquarters was in the 1850s, and this is their satellite dish.
That's Ted Turner's tower right there.
Yeah. You know, we got Ted Turner, we got Jonah Hill, we got this guy, Christian Bale, probably.
Yeah.
In India.
Before. You've had that on Sunlight. So I was surprised to do a little research and found out that the USS Alligator was actually the U.S. Navy's first submarine, and lo and behold, it was created, at least I didn't say founded, built in 1862. And it was based on a design by a French engineer because, of course, it'd be a French engineer who'd have something this amazing.
Now he trusts.
Apparently, submarines just seem to.
Now, what timeline is this stuff from? What's this submarine from?
Like now he's just reading Wikipedia and be like, "Wow, I was surprised to learn this." But like now you're trusting Wikipedia, bro. I think you might have an issue if you look at any Wikipedia entry on history before 1850.
Yeah, that's something that Kent Hovind does that really annoys me because he has these making babies videos where he clearly doesn't believe what papers or articles or sites like Wikipedia say about evolution, but he'll use these same sites to read out facts about the animals. And it's like, well, why? How did you decide that this part of the information is true, but not like the part about it evolving? Like they just pick it. Yeah, it's vibes.
Well, the thing is you can go read the Book of Mormon, and there's submarines in that. So, I mean, right? This is just
okay. That would be absurd because it's the Book of Mormon. What you really need to look for evidence is the books in the Old Testament. Totally different.
I would rather than the Book of Mormon, I would rather go straight to the source and just look into Hat. And just try to get my information from that.
Is the hat from Tartaria, though?
It's from Hataria.
Hataria. That's a rival kingdom.
Yeah.
Come up out of the blue, and there were practical examples in the 1860s or even the late 1850s. Now, yes, people will tell me, well, what about the turtle from the Revolutionary War? Yes, it was a one-person submersible, and it seemed to be crank and screw driven. But in any event, we do have the wreckage here on the right. This isn't the Alligator, it's actually the Hunley. They did recover the original Confederate submarine, supposedly. Although if you look at it, it looks more like a torpedo. So who knows exactly what was going on or what they're telling us? It's just amazing when you really pull apart the official narrative, and we're told that, yes, we had submarines in the 1860s. Because
I actually liked the Merrimack and the Monitor. I thought those were kind of pre-submarine sort of badass battleships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little more.
He doesn't
powerful.
seem to notice that there's not a fin on this submarine. There's no decorative whale fish fin.
No scales
That's
either.
That's why he thinks that it looks so suspect. He said, it looks more like a torpedo. I mean, where's the giant fish fins on the back?
Yeah.
Well, we all know that submarines have doors on the side,
Yeah.
not the top, because you want to go out the side when it's underwater.
How else would Jonah have gotten out?
Where's its caudal fin? You all are obsessed with the dorsal fin. It doesn't have a caudal fin. How is it even propelling itself?
Vibes.
Because why not? And down here in the lower left, you can see the plans from the USS Alligator. So going back to this, not sure if this was actually a submarine.
Same picture. Hey, AJ, corporate wants you to tell me the difference between these two pictures.
Is he ever going to get to actual evidence for Tartaria, or is he just going to talk about submarines?
I don't know. Maybe he just likes talking about submarines. Like I said, he's the whole video dedicated to Superman. So, and how Superman's part of the Tartarian lore of like hero cycles and stuff.
Whether it was ships or whatever. And of course the technology with it. So this could have been designs that they found remaining ships or submersibles all over the place that were not destroyed in the reset, whatever it truly involved. And they were able to either extrapolate designs or get working designs going again. Not sure, but it definitely seems to lead to that indication. Let's move on. A group of Gurkha soldiers with their British officer during the Indian Mutiny or Great Sepoy Rebellion of 1857. Now look how well they're equipped and dressed, and you really have to wonder what's really going on here. Is this a legitimate military operation to suppress a rebellion, or is there something else going on here? If you look in the nature of conflicts, and the real purpose of this video overall is to introduce some other major clues as to
Why they dress so nice, though? That's his argument.
Must be a lost civilization.
Colonialism.
how the world
That's my reason.
responded after the last reset, and what were the methods in which ensuring that the reset stuck and there was no memory of the previous civilization. And I believe there were three approaches. They utilized conflict, and the conflict was masking the destruction of what remained of the enclaves. They used asylums for the people who did not want to assimilate into the new society or the new world. And then they also had indoctrination, which was gradually implemented in education and society and the major institutions. I'm going to do many videos that are going to follow up on those three themes and how they implemented this. But what this picture could be is you could be seeing a
I feel like I need to put my foil hat on after that rant right there.
picture of the
It's all this
Society.
indoctrination, man.
Yeah.
How else could the entire British Empire have outfitted these 15 guys so nicely?
Yeah. Look, they have swords, dude. Then you just give
Bayonets.
swords to anybody? To brown people? Come on.
Is he going
now.
to talk about what he thinks were these he said there are enclaves that went past the 1850. There were still enclaves of Tartaria around. I'm curious what he thinks those were. I will get to it.
I almost want to think that he thought that that he draws something from the old German kingdoms, the old Teutonic kingdoms. To
I guess we'll see.
yeah, we'll see.
that was sent to destroy one of the enclaves, and then they simply had a different name for it. Oh, they were suppressing the Indian Mutiny or the Great Sepoy Rebellion in 1857. Yes, see, we got a great picture. And yes, I do think there are clues that the U.S. Civil War was the same thing. But there are many conflicts on record that occurred between 1850 and 1870, and in fact, the rest of the 19th century. So all in good time. The inauguration of President James Buchanan at the East Front of the United States Capitol Building, March 4th, 1857. Well, there's a lot going on in this picture. Oh, I mean, what is this? I can't tell if this is a ladder or what. This is an amazing picture, but yet the quality of it is either eroded or there's something else going on. I don't know. You'd think you'd get a better picture of a presidential inauguration. And for those of us into U.S. history, James Buchanan was the ineffective U.S. president whose poor leadership allowed the United States Civil War to start. At least that's what official history tells us. And of course, you can see on the Capitol building the amazing columns and some remarkable statues and people
So
just standing on the roof. You know, it's always people
to
standing on.
clarify, Sumami, he doesn't not believe in the Civil War. He doesn't believe the Civil War was what it is or was what it was. He thinks it was a false flag to cover up the fall of Tartaria.
Yeah, so it sounds like he's claiming that the enclaves, there was an enclave in India that were the Gurkhas, and there was an enclave. I don't know if he's saying that the north or the south was the enclave of Tartaria during the Civil War. But he's saying that there was that all these conflicts in the 19th century, which, like, by the way, like, the 19th century is known for being, like, remarkably peaceful. Like, whether it's because of colonialism or whatever, they say, like, the peaceful 19th century, like, that is a thing. So he's like, all these conflicts in the mid 19th century. It's like, dude, what? After the Napoleonic Wars, they're really, like, the U.S. Civil War was, like, one of the biggest conflicts in the entire period until, like, World War I. But okay, so now I want to know, does he say that the north or the south was the Tartarian enclave? I'm curious.
I would vote for the South because I just think that it seems like the type of person who thinks the Civil War, we've been lied to it, and probably owns a rebel flag. But I just like that he said that you think we get a better picture with like the camera technology of the 1850s. Like you can see how blurry it is because people are moving. But we still got a really great image of the Capitol building. It's just like this one part of it off to the right is not like, is kind of overexposed. But I mean, you can't expect that much out of these cameras.
Well, just think about the advanced level of technology of Tartaria, though.
That's true.
Yeah. This is Tartaria Tech.
Fruit Loops
On the roof, they
canceled
seem to love to show
flips.
that in these old photos. I guess getting on the roof was the cool thing to do. We should
Oh.
never be allowed to do that today in any major event, but back then apparently it was encouraged. And perhaps what we see here is people moving or the photo being distorted by that. It does give that.
No, that is absolutely what you're seeing, because it took how long did it take for pictures to process? Like 13 minutes or something back then?
Well, Bree, that's only one theory. There are
Yeah.
several alternatives like simulation theory, dream theory,
Vanilla
etc.
Sky theory, Inception. I just like the idea that they would have allowed people on the roof of these buildings during the presidential inauguration. Even back then, I don't think they would have done that. I mean, maybe before all the presidential assassinations,
This
things were
was
more
the
lax. But
pre-Lincoln assassination era. Yeah.
okay, fair enough.
Inclination that there were limits to the technology at the time. Okay, fine, so be it. And then another one of the U.S. Capitol building dome under construction, looking south from the roof of the Senate wing, showing the first row of columns near completion and the cast iron pillars up, 1857. That's cast iron pillars, and then it looks like we have some columns. Although, once again, this photo just raises more questions than it answers, because, of course, you have the classic vanilla sky, and you'll say, well, the quality of the photo degraded, and they just didn't have the technology. Okay, fine, I can accept those arguments. And it looks like we just have a group of workers that are just hanging out and posing, as they tend to do. Just so much mystery when you look at a photo like this, and you have to wonder about it and wonder about this previous photo, because it gives the idea that there's limitations in the...
Old photos, when people move, they're blurry, and it confuses him.
Well, he's like, there's so much mystery behind this photo of the Capitol dome being constructed. It's like, what is the mystery? I don't get. What's the mystery there? It just is under construction. And did he say the vanilla sky? Did he literally like name drop that?
Yeah, he's his concern, if you watch through his like these photo videos that he puts together, he has a lot of concern with these old photos having a gray or like this vanilla colored sky, like the sky was a different color back then when the back when the sun was yellow.
Yeah,
So it caused the old photos to have a vanilla sky.
of course.
Well, the movie
Technology
Vanilla
was in-
Sky is based on a famous painting that, and I guess he's saying that that there's some sort of link between the blurring of fantasy and reality in that movie and the sky in this photo.
And
I don't
the
know.
blurring of the people. Dum dum dum.
Oh,
Yeah, you just discovered the mystery.
have other things going on. You have other things going on that really make you question the legitimacy of it. And who knows how these photos could have been altered. Is this guy like a phantom or something? What is going on here? Strange.
He stood in two different places while the photo was being taken. He stood up and he sat down. So it caught part of him standing up and part of him sitting. It's like he's never... makes me think that this guy really, really young. Like they've never seen double exposures and stuff.
I just want to know, like, how are any of these old photos evidence for Tartaria? Is he ever going to get there? Like, it looks like he's just going to keep on going through a chain of old photos and saying, it's weird. Why are some of them blurry? And then somehow this is supposed to add up to there being a lost civilization that's being, like, intentionally, like, kept under wraps.
Yeah, because if they weren't trying to hide it from you, why were their pictures so bad, Grayson?
Why were they blurry? Why are those pictures blurry? I don't know.
What are they trying to hide from us? Exactly. All right, let's pop around through here and see if we got any goodies in here that we're going to talk about. Let's see, because we have like stuff where he talks about the mound builders and having these big mounds when they're building cities.
It just looks normal. That looks like a normal picture. Like,
yeah, he's like, these pictures blow his mind. I don't get it. Let's like listen to him talk about this, like this old west town here. What is this? San Francisco, 1856. A little boom town at that time. Little dirty boomtown.
And Battery Street in San Francisco, California, 1856. So again, only 9 short years later. By the way, you can find more dramatic photos from 1851 where they just threw the city up in just a few short years. I guess all these people who were coming here, all these 49ers, were amazing engineers and builders. And I know it's been covered in many other channels, but just look at this. So here you can get the idea of brick buildings, very clearly brick building. Nice little dome or tower adornment. I mean, why not put the decoration? You
Power
can
source.
accomplish anything in 9 short years. And here it is, an actual dome. More pillars and columns.
I have a
and,
question.
you know, because they just brought
About the power
Okay,
source?
what is this mysterious blurred image above this dome? Do we know what this is?
It's a. I
That's
think
the
they used to open up portals to suck power through from the Tesla verse.
Yeah, this is clearly some type of ancient technology, some type of wind energy turbine. But I think I know what his argument is. I think he's saying that that there's a continuation of these Tartarian people, and that they are the people who were able to build this city so quickly because they had engineers coming in, and that's why the city is so advanced for the time. Because look, you can clearly see like a Radio Shack here, and like there's a Best Buy in the background.
Listen,
And
listen.
this
AJ.
man has a cell phone. It's just blurry. You can't see it, but this horse has a cell phone in his pocket.
I'm about to blow your mind, AJ. See this sign right here above this building that says hardware?
Mhm.
Hardware? Why would they have hardware if they didn't have software? They had software in 1856? Come on.
Dude, they had Windows Me back then.
Ah.
Read the signs. That's all I can say.
everything with them. It was really just easy. And San Francisco is always a remarkable city. Just look at the detail right here. Everywhere you look, you see it. Yes, I think it tells a very different story than what the picture depicts. And now we'll look at some individuals too. Samuel Morse, the American artist and inventor, standing in a studio with an automatic telegraph receiver, which would record incoming Morse code messages onto paper circa 1857. Yes. Samuel Morse. Interesting character. Looks very regal and looks very, very well dressed. I don't know. Looks like he's ready for the blizzard to come in. I sure hope they didn't take that photo somewhere down south in the summer. But, maybe there were some different climate situations going on in Georgia and South Carolina. That's where he posed for this picture because that's the reason why the land was so arid there. Those droughts that could randomly occur. I never witnessed one when I lived there.
So he's complaining about people in the South wearing big floofy clothes all the time, like warm clothes, like big dresses, and what European people wore back then was just really gaudy and overdone, and yeah, we did look ridiculous, and we were probably all sweaty and stinky all the time.
Did they have central heating back then?
Central heating.
Like, I'm actually asking, like, did they have any heating system besides just like a fireplace?
They had boiler
Like
systems in the 1850s. Buildings got
Okay.
boiler systems, but
And
they weren't common in like residential areas, though. More like in early industrial scenes and in municipal buildings and things like that.
and do you guys know the story of why he invented Morse code?
No.
So apparently he was living somewhere separate from his wife at the time, and he got sent a message via the Pony Express that she was sick, but it took him so long to receive the message that by the time he traveled to where she was, she had already died. So he wanted to invent some type of system to send messages more quickly than how they were currently doing it, and that's why he developed Morse code, apparently.
That's actually pretty nifty. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Also, it kind of seems like this photo was taken in New York, not the South like he's claiming. So
Oh, well, did you look up the province on the photo?
yeah, taken by Matthew Brady, who was a New York photographer. It just kind of seems like the photo was taken in New York, which, as we know, gets a little chilly.
Yeah.
And you can tell that he's clearly posing for this photo and is not moving at all. Like, intentionally.
Right.
That's why this one isn't blurry.
That's why he's not blurry. All right, let's
Like,
do
how
one
was
more.
any of this ever for Tartaria, though?
Let's do one more talk about this dome here, and then we'll wrap up. All right, and let's talk about what you guys.
Well, like,
got
what is
coming
his
up.
conclusion? I want to know,
Oh, you wanna get
after
the
all these
conclusion.
photographs,
We'll get to
what
hear
is his conclusion here?
Let's pop ahead to the conclusion. See what he has to say. Because the Golden Gate Bridge is what he closes out on. So
Station with the gardens, avoiding a steep
Or
incline.
Golden Bridge,
Sensible enough.
sorry,
And provide a
Vietnam.
scenic overlooking tourist attraction. Well, more sensible if you go off the concept of tourism. The bridge loops nearly back around to itself and has two giant hands constructed of fiberglass and wire mesh designed to appear like stone hands that support the structure. So they're saying it right here. They're giant hands constructed of fiberglass and wire mesh designed to appear like stone hands that support the structure. Okay. The client for the project was the Sun Group. The bridge was designed by TA Landscape Architecture under Ho Chi Minh City University of Architecture based in Ho Chi Minh City.
Ho Chi Minh City.
All right. The bridge opened in 2018. Construction began in July 2017 and was completed in April 2018.
What is the right way to say that?
Ho Chi
Ho Chi
Minh.
Minh. Yeah.
Ho Chi Minh? What did he say, Ho Chi Minh?
He said Ho Chi Minh City.
Also, earlier, I think he said founded when he meant to say found. Like, I just thought that was funny.
Quite a year. Very intriguing. So they're saying that those hands are made of fiberglass and wire mesh. I really wonder. I mean, is there anybody out there that was involved with this construction who saw this, who has actually been there and can verify?
I think
just
my
asking the question. I mean,
conclusion
this
is the
could
right
be
one.
could
Just
be
saying.
fiberglass and wire mesh. A very
I'd
challenging.
imagine there's probably hundreds of people that were involved on this project that can confirm this to him.
But I think that might be the only thing he's really saying in this video is that there are people who are, I guess, ancestors or offspring of people who are carrying on the Tartarian legacy, and they have advanced knowledge of how to build things, and they're the ones that build these structure. It wasn't like what it's saying on Wikipedia, so he's saying this is wrong.
This was built in 2017.
No, it was discovered in 2017, Grayson. Discovered.
We could find pictures of that plot of land before 2017 with nothing else.
Can you though?
Yeah. He's like, was there anyone involved in this construction? Like, yeah, okay, maybe, dude, not in your comment section, but this is from 2017. You can find a lot of Vietnamese people that helped build this thing.
You can contact the contractor and talk to them about the structure. You know, you probably have to pretend you were interested in contracting some work to get their attention. But
he's like, throughout this whole thing, okay, he's gone from saying that like the Great Pyramids are from an ancient lost civilization to then going to say the Arc de Triomphe is from an ancient lost civilization to then saying buildings in St. Louis from the early 1900s are from an ancient lost civilization. Now he's saying that this structure from 2017 is from an ancient lost civilization. It's like it's continuously going like more and more and more recent.
Oh.
No, I don't think that's what he's saying, though. I think he's saying that, at least for these more modern structures, I think he's saying that, because you said earlier, he said that there's like humans living that are still like, their ancestors were from Tartaria, right? And that these people are like master builders and that they exist. These people are alive, but the fact that they have this advanced technology, that's what's been hidden.
Let's let him explain what his point is here with the Golden Bridge then.
Okay. And I was going to say, maybe we can replay what he says at the beginning of the video too. That might help.
We watched that. That's where he starts talking about submarines.
That's all. He doesn't explain like what he's trying to say in the video at all.
Not at all.
Oh, okay. That's true.
The thread gets lost.
I want to hear how he concludes it from the Golden Bridge to. We got 3 minutes left on this video.
Okay.
I gotta
hear
it.
Environment that exists in Vietnam, and you know, it's pretty. I'm not sure. Let's see what else. What do Reuters have to say about it? Da Nang, Vietnam. In the mountains of central Vietnam, a colossal pair of hands lifts a golden thread of walkway high above the cliff tops as if the mountain itself has sprouted limbs. Funny they say that. I feel like I'm walking on clouds. It's so unique. It does look unique. It's attracted scores of tourists since it opened in June. I could see why. The pedestrian walkway, designed by TA Landscape Architecture, okay, so it does verify. The account sits at over 1,000 meters, 3,280 feet above sea level, and extends over the treetops. The bridge was designed to evoke the image of a giant hands of gods, interesting, pulling a strip of gold out of the land. Creates a walkway in the sky. But it is a golden bridge in its supports, two huge stone-colored human hands styled in such a way that it looks as if the jungle is struggling to reclaim them, which have garnered the most attention from visitors. The two smooth, giant hands look real. Yes, they certainly do. It makes me feel like humans can do anything. With fiberglass and wire mesh. In Vietnam. Okay. All right. Well, let's just conclude this by taking a look at exactly where this is. So, we're in Vietnam. Near Da Nang, it would appear. Oh, look at this terrain that this is on. Nice big giant hill. Well, nothing suspicious about that, right? Of course it'd be on a nice big giant hill.
Yeah,
looks like there's
it
the
would.
walkway.
Yeah, if you want something to be up high, you need to build it down low, right?
Nothing suspicious about that.
And
What does he
there
think
are the
it means?
hands.
Like it was like a breast
Sitting
jutting out of
on
the earth?
ground.
There's a giant buried there, and they just uncovered the hands.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going
Analyzing
for.
the man, as John likes to say.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
It does look pretty cool.
fiberglass and mesh. What do you think?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but they're very extraordinary. What else is on this?
that's what they make. Like if you go to the zoo and stuff, that's what they make all the rock work there out of too. It's the same stuff, and they coat it with the weather treatment stuff, and it's good to go. All the rocks that the lions climb on and stuff, it's all made the same way. It's not real stone.
It would be way too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since we're here. Oh, look at that! A couple of castles: Lunar Castle and Ravenstone Castle. We have any access near there? No, of course we don't. Very beautiful.
Of course.
It definitely makes you wonder. Well, I think I'll leave it there. But if anybody was involved in that construction, or anybody has construction photos, or knows a little bit more about this interesting story, feel free to share. That's what exploration is
look
all
at the
about. And it could
description of the
be
video?
just a simple contemporary human story, and we just are looking to validate it. There's nothing wrong with asking questions like that. As I always say, ask questions, search yourself. And you'll
He
explore the world.
titled
Please
this
like, comment, and
video
subscribe.
"Evidence of Tartaria." Where was the evidence?
Well, you can
Did
still
you
see it
see
today,
this?
apparently.
Did you see this though? Look at this.
Yeah, it's an aqueduct. I don't.
But wait, what about this? See how blurry these people are?
That is some blurry people.
Yeah. Dude, just
Sold.
think about it. Like, Ames Plow Company? Come on.
That's clearly a Tartarian artifact.
Agriculture warehouse. It has columns like a Greek building, guys.
Look at the columns.
Obviously. Boston.
Boston.
Yeah. A harbor. Really? Now they're going to try to sell us on harbors, too. I bet they're going to dump tea in it.
You
People
see those mounds in the distance?
Yeah. Those are the
I mean,
means-
seriously, though, what does he think that he's actually doing here? Can somebody like steal man? What does he think that he's doing? Just asking questions about old photos? Like,
Do real chains really get that big? Yeah.
Well, what does the description say?
Great Eastern under construction.
No, for the
oh,
video.
the description of the video.
Oh, for the video, yeah, it says an exploration into photos from the 1850s, searching for clues concerning the existence of Tartaria or a previous civilization. Photos contain many buildings and anomalies that will be examined and discussed. Do these photos provide evidence that a reset may have occurred just before the 1850s?
A reset.
Reset.
Yeah,
What does
that's
that
what he was talking about with like 1850. Like, there's a reset in between all the different ages of his 5 to 3 ages.
Did he have the time? Yeah, there's the timeline. Here we go. So these
Yeah,
are the
so he's got all
resets.
The dashed lines there.
These are the proposed resets, and each one of these is a proposed reset too. For these ages, that's why there's inconsistency, because you got the 5 ages, right? But this 5th age, people are disputing. He's saying people are disputing when it started, 1750 to 1800 to 1850.
It sounds to me like he just can't figure out how old architecture was done. Like, he can't wrap his head around that. He thinks that we are not capable of making buildings that were made before 1850. He thinks that current humans with modern technology are not capable of making things like the Arc de Triomphe or Notre Dame or the Great Pyramids. Like, he thinks that we're just not.
It's exactly that. It's the Great Pyramids argument. The indigenous people couldn't make that, but he's extending that all the way up to sometimes the 1930s, saying people could not.
2017.
Yeah, to 2017. Yeah, to the giant hands.
So that these structures were built before 1850, and then there was a reset where all of our memories have been changed.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he even says Art Deco buildings are too advanced for modern humans to build.
But they can. So what does he think when you look at pictures of before the thing was built in 2017?
He asked,
I don't know.
"Where
You
is
never showed him.
He disputed it. He said, is there anybody around who can confirm that this was part of this or part of this project?" Acted like they didn't exist. When it's like, I imagine you can probably pretty well trace who built that monument and who the contractors were and who worked on the contracting team and who was the designer and the architect and who owned the land.
I mean, why does he think that he thinks that ancient civilizations could have built those big hands, but not us?
Yes.
Yes.
He literally said that back in the golden age, all things were possible because the technology was so advanced.
We don't have the technology to do it now.
Is he saying that those hands are actually made of stone?
Yes, that's a giant
He's
carved
asking
hand.
questions about it.
He's saying, do these really look like they were made out of wire and fiberglass to you? Do they? Do they look like that to you? That's what he's saying.
Do you know anybody that was involved in their construction, AJ?
It's like, do you see any curvature when you look at the horizon?
Not when I look at the horizon. So,
there you go.
That's a good argument.
Just asking questions.
I think it's similar to what some creationists do, where they don't want to make positive claims because they don't want to get called out on them. So they're just like, challenging the narrative. I'm just asking questions. But they don't
do
want
that about like ancient history and stuff, especially ancient history of the ancient Near East. They want to be like, well, do we really know that this group did that or who these people were?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like how Ken Hovind will always say that, like, oh, these animals might have had a common ancestor. He won't ever say that they did.
Yep. Well, what do you all think? How was your first journey into the world of Tartaria?
We never even got out of the front door.
I mean, I'm pretty convinced.
Photos that had blurry people.
I found it compelling, personally.
Yeah. AJ's a Tartarian now.
Well, look, why can't you trace your ancestry before 1850?
Because before that's when my ancestors got off the orphan train, my dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and orphans don't have parents, so there you go.
That's where
my history's been suppressed. You've been lied to.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, honestly, this was dumber than young Earth creationism.
Was it dumber than flat Earth? Do you think?
Is this guy a flat earther?
I don't know if some Tartarian people are flat earthers. They're all young Earth creationists, though.
I think that the fact that every time he would say all over the world or realm or whatever you want to call it is like a subtle hint that he's a flat earther, or at least agnostic about it. Because every time he keeps saying they were all over the land or the realm, or, he's very, I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying that the world is flat. I'm not saying it's not kind of guy.
Maybe he's a hollow earther.
I like hollow earthers.
I mean, he probably just thinks that we can't know literally anything. I mean, that's what he sounds like. I mean, he doesn't even think that something that was built in 2017 is real. So.
All right. Hey, I got a link for tonight, too. This is for Maya's thing tonight. I just want to before I forget, I want to make sure I drop it in the side chat. So, Bad Science Sunday. You all have both been on Bad Science Sunday, or neither one of you have? You all both need to get on there. It's hilarious. It's kind of like
I'm going to be on there next Sunday, actually.
What do you know what you're going to be covering?
It's a secret.
Oh, I won't.
You'll have to tune in.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll have to check this out.
I've been on there a few times. It's always a blast to either be in the live chat or on the panel. But you're gonna like it, I think. If you like what we do here, this was kind of they having guests on. Like, this was kind of inspired by Maya having guests on first. I'm like, it's so much more fun to crack open these nutcases when you have somebody to riff off of.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate you guys coming on. What do you got coming up? Either one of y'all got any debates? I know AJ was talking about a debate, another Hovind debate on the horizon.
I've been trying to get a few debates lined up. I'm trying to get in touch with Darth Dawkins just because I think it's sort of a rite of passage for atheist YouTubers to debate with Darth Dawkins. Yep, exactly. And then I'm trying to get a debate going on the whether or not the resurrection happened. Modern Day Debate said that they don't want to host it because it's like too specific or something. I don't know. It was weird. And then yeah, I've been trying to get a debate going with Witsit on Flat Earth, but he said, yeah, I've done a debate, but I'm super busy. And I'm like, well, what time would work for you? And then it's just, he hasn't responded and won't respond to any messages. So kind of weird. I talked to him in person for like 30 minutes and he kept saying, yeah, I'm totally open. We can debate. Yeah, sure. Contact me. And then radio silence. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm trying to get some debates on the docket.
All right. AJ?
Yeah. So I have a debate that is apparently scheduled. Apparently, it got pushed back because Standing for Truth got sick. So that was why. Because I thought like there was some other nefarious reason, but I think it's going to be around like December 20th or the 22nd, and yeah, it's supposed to be on carbon dating. So. It should be good. My last debate with him was interesting.
All right. Well, I'll look forward to that. Yeah. All right. Well, next week I believe I have I have Brentley and I have Tony Reed on. Do you know Tony Reed? They did the video series, like a classic video series. Taught me to be an atheist. Yeah.
I've seen them.
Mm-hmm. His Bombardier Beetle video is excellent. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in with us tonight. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time.
Recent Tartarian, 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 in what way? Recent Tartarian, recent Tartarian, recent Tartarian, recent Tartarian, recent Tartarian. We about to have a conversation with Andreas, Tartaria, and Jason Pate on recent Tartarians, the new video channel that he putting up to date. It has got things that you never make your mind spin around, things that you never heard before, and now we're about to get into a conversation that you never heard before on recent Tartarians. Recent Tartarians, with Jason Pate, recent Tartarians, and Andreas, recent Tartarians. By the way, that's gone. Recent Tartarians. Gone.